Welcome to another Cardano update. So let's start on the Bitcoin dominance chart again. As you can see, we went to a dominance level of about 60.26%. And we could have topped already. I'm not sure if we topped, but do not forget, we always go down in November on the Bitcoin dominance chart. So there's a huge chance that we have already topped, and keep in mind, this is the last day of October. Now, if this is the last day of October, that does not mean that we have to start going down exactly on November 1st. We could easily go above 60%, but as you can see, Bitcoin dominance is currently struggling to get to the extension. So like I said, we don't really have to get to that extension, and you could say that we already got to it. I mean, we are like 0.10% away from it, or at least we were 0.10% away from it. So we could have topped. And also, if we look at the monthly chart, this green wick is kind of big, and if you compare what's happening right now to what was happening in the previous cycle, as you can see, in the previous cycle we also had a very large wick before we actually started the altcoin season. Now, of course, you could say that we are exactly right here, and you are right, we are right here in the cycle, but that does not mean that we have to get another pump in December, because if you check out what happened in the cycle before that, in the 2016 halving, we were going up in September and October, and we started going down in November, and we went down in December as well. So I don't know which cycle we will follow, and obviously maybe we'll do something entirely different. Maybe we'll start dropping now. And also, if you look at what happened in the previous cycle, as you can see, Bitcoin dominance still got another high in November, so it closed at about 64% in October, and then it still went to about 67% in November, and then it started dropping. And like I said, this is where most altcoins actually started their 1-2 setup for the altcoin season, and then later, after Bitcoin dominance had this pump right here, that's when the third wave for the altcoins started. So this is where the third wave started. However, you have to keep in mind that these cycles are not the same. I mean, in the previous cycle, we did not go up in a straight line like we did in this cycle, so we don't have to do the exact same thing. And also keep in mind, here we did not have a 1-2 setup for the altcoins. Here the altcoins were actually recovering after getting a new bear market low during the pandemic drop. So, you know, these cycles are obviously not the same, but we could at least use what happened in the previous two cycles to get an idea of what might happen, not what will happen. Now, if you go on the RSI, as you can see, the RSI is currently not overbought on the monthly, and we'll see what happens once the month closes. We could start dropping like crazy immediately. I mean, that's what usually happens after we get a green wick like this. For example, here we had a green wick, and look at what happened after that. We had a correction. So yeah, it's very likely that we get some kind of correction, and no matter if we get another pump in December, I'm still expecting Cardano and the other altcoins to finally form some kind of 5-wave move to the upside and confirm that the second wave move down is actually in. And you know, no coin has already done that. Well, actually, I think Dogecoin has done that already. So this is how a 5-wave move should look like. After getting this low, it went up in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 setup, and now it's confirmed that the second wave move down is in and that it's heading in a third wave move to the upside. However, Cardano has not done this, and obviously you could say that of course it has not done this because, you know, Bitcoin dominance is going up, so of course Cardano cannot go up. And you would be right. I mean, that's what usually happens when Bitcoin dominance goes up. Cardano underperforms against it. So no big surprise here. And also Dogecoin is a meme coin, and as you know, in the bull markets, meme coins actually go up first and then the altcoins follow them. So maybe that's a sign that something very bullish is about to happen, and in my opinion, I do think that something very bullish is about to happen. Now let's talk about the Elliott wave jump again. So here we went up in a 1-2 setup. As you can see, in the second wave move down, we touched the trend line. And then we form another A wave of this 1-2 setup for a third wave. And the A wave obviously has 3 waves, an ABC structure. And then after that, we formed another ABC structure in the B wave right here. And now we are trying to go in a C wave. Now, of course, I still cannot confirm that the B wave low is in until we actually get some kind of 5-wave move to the upside. And you could count this move as a 1, 2, 3 setup, and you could count it as a first wave move to the upside. So we'll see what happens in the second wave move down right here. If we get below 32.5 cents, it's going to be very likely that we get another B wave low before we go in a C wave, if we go in a C wave. Also keep in mind, here we actually dropped below a trend line, and This trend line actually had 3 touch points, well, actually 4 touch points, you could say 5 as well, with this right here. So yeah, it's very unclear what will happen next. If we want to confirm that the B wave low is in, we have to get a third wave after we get the second wave. I don't know if the second wave is already in. A break above this high right here, about 36.4 cents, would make it more ideal that a third wave is happening. But for now, I'm still expecting another low, and I'm expecting this second wave move down right here to maybe get to the 0.618 extension or something before getting a third wave. Now, if we do get a third wave, this third wave should get to at least the 200% extension of this 1-2 setup, and that is at 40.3 cents. And obviously, if we get that level, it's going to be bullish because that would put us above the bull market support band. And as you can see, we got rejected by the bull market support band many times already. So if we get back above it and we actually form a 5-wave move to the upside and we stay above it, it's going to be very, very bullish. And honestly, I think this move will happen in November, and not only this move, but the C wave here as well. And honestly, I think this move will happen in November, and not only this 5-wave move, but the C wave as well. And the C wave of this AB structure will complete the third wave of this 1-2 setup, and it should get to at least 52.7 cents, which is the 200% extension of this 1-2 setup right here. And once we get that, then of course we can expect a short correction in the fourth wave move down, and then we can get a fifth wave, and once we get these 5 waves, I will finally be able to confirm that something more bullish is going on, and that Cardano has bottomed in the second wave move down right here. And also that will complete a first wave move to the upside of a main third wave move to the upside. And as you know, I'm very bullish on this coin because it's holding support levels quite well, and it's just copying what it did in the previous cycle. I don't really understand the font, to be honest with you. I mean, in the previous cycle, we were exactly right here. And as you can see, at this time, Cardano was at about 10 cents or so, and it was still down about 90% from the all-time high right here. And I don't remember people complaining too much about Cardano down here, so I don't know what has happened, I don't know where the FUD is coming from, but to be honest with you, I mean, Cardano is still copying what it did in the previous cycle. It's also in a 1-2 setup. Now, of course, the structure is not the same. This 1-2 setup that we are in right now looks more similar to the 1-2 setup that we had right here, but that does not matter because at the end of the day, it's still a 1-2 setup, and as you can see here, after a while, we still managed to plump. Now, of course, if we ignore the pandemic drop, I think we would have continued to go up, and we would have not invalidated the 1-2 setup, so you could say that Cardano could have gotten for like $5 if it weren't for the pandemic, but you know, that would only be speculation. Nobody knows what could have happened. And also, I was comparing what happened in the previous cycle to what's happening right now. As you can see, in the previous cycle, we were also going sideways in September and October, and even in November as well. We actually started pumping in the middle of November, and Cardano actually went up about 100% in November. So if we are copying what it did in the previous cycle, then Cardano should finally form some kind of 5-wave move to the upside, like it did right here. And as you can see right here, in November, we actually went above the first wave high, and we confirmed that the second wave move down is in. So I'm not saying that something like this will happen again, but, you know, it could happen, because the structure that we have right now looks very similar to what we did right there, so there is a possibility that we break above this high right here in November. We'll just have to wait and see what happens with Bitcoin dominance. Now let's also look at the Bitcoin chart. As you can see, Bitcoin finally broke out of this sideways price action, and it's currently working on a C wave of this third wave move to the upside. Now this is the third wave of this 1-2 setup, and this is the C wave of this AB structure. And by the looks of it, we already have a 1-2 setup of the C wave right here, so I think we are working on the third wave right now, and this could be the 1-2 setup of that third wave, so we could get a bounce very, very soon in my opinion. And don't remember, Bitcoin always goes up in Q4, especially during a halving year, so I still think we'll get to 100k by the end of the year. And if we do that, then of course Cardano will finally start its third wave move to the upside, because as you know, Bitcoin dominance will most likely drop. So if Bitcoin goes up and Bitcoin dominance goes down, that's when the altcoins go up. So, you know, I don't have to say this every video, but this is what happened in the previous few cycles as well. And I don't know what it would not happen again, to be honest with you. I mean, we are just copying what it did in the previous cycles, and everyone is surprised. I don't really get that, to be honest with you. I mean, This is just data. We are following the data, and what do you know? Following the data actually works. So, would have to wait and see what happens with this, but like I said, I'm still expecting Bitcoin to hit 100K by the end of the year, and then 200 to maybe 250K by the end of next year. So my predictions have not changed, and like I said, Cardano, in my opinion, if it holds this 1-2 setup that we have on the chart, can still get to $5 to $8 in this cycle. Maybe like $7.50 if it wants to touch this trend line right here that we already touched 2 times with the previous all-time highs, but we'll see what happens. And that's all I have for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want to support that channel, and if you want access to all of our charts, like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.